Hello everybody, this is HD Shaves here. I'm back with another video. I hope this finds you well and in good spirits. So my apologies for not uploading a video last week. I just had some technical issues and had kind of a busy schedule. So my apologies on that, but we're back this week and have some very exciting gear to share with you. So the star of the show today is without a doubt this beautiful titanium WR1 razor from Wolfman. It is a dual comb, dual gap razor, and I'm affectionately calling this the bells and whistles, everything but the kitchen sink, the full Monty, things like that razor, because there's just so many things that have been done to this razor. So again, it is titanium, it is anodized, and then dual gap, dual comb. So on this side of the razor, the open comb side, it's a 0.61 gap. And then on the solid bar side, I believe it's 0.48, something like that. The point is it's milder, right? And so this is the WRH2 handle, and I believe this is 80 millimeters, which is like just over 3 inches. And I do prefer the shorter handles in general. I think that comes from my vintage razor experience, I guess you could say, and those handles tended to be shorter. So yes, the anodizing is back for these titanium razors. If you ask nicely when you place your order, I think he can get this done for you. And additionally, people have been asking about these polos, and same deal with this, well, a little different. I think if there's enough interest, he'll start selling these in a more kind of formal fashion. So either send them a note saying that, hey, if you sell these polos, I'd be happy to buy one. Or maybe even leave a comment below just saying, would love to see those shirts for sale. This one is, it's a thinner fabric than the gray one that I usually wear, which is cotton. This one's some kind of cotton poly blend, I believe. And this would really be nice for golfing, very breathable kind of fabric. So anyway, that's the sort of Wolfman start of the shave. And let's go ahead and load the razor, why don't we? We're going to be using the Polsilver Super Iridium. I've got the pack right here, so I might as well just show you what it looks like. This razor blade. These are really difficult to find these days, it seems, and when you do find them, they're outrageously priced. And I guess I consider myself lucky that I got in at the ground floor, and that I picked these up in 2019 when they were still, reasonably priced. And some of these I even picked up from my local store, Mertz Apothecary, known as smallflower.com online. So how about that? Let's go ahead and assemble, screw on the handle here. And this is only the second titanium razor I've ever used. The first was the chiseled face titanium, but there you go. That's what it looks like. We got the blade in there. And for reference, the 0.61 side, the 0.61 gap is sort of the standard WR1 offering. So in my limited experience with this razor, it's been very comfortable and makes sense that it's, the standard gap. For the brush today, we're going to be using, as I always say, perhaps the most beautiful brush I've ever owned, but does not get used enough. This is a custom Wolf Whiskers handle that I picked up secondhand maybe a year or two ago with a 26 millimeter Maggard super high density fan knot, but because of the loft and how these knots are, it really behaves more like a 48 millimeter brush. I'm going to go ahead and put this in some warm water for just a second. So we've got that going. And then also the soap. We're going to be using Barrister and Mann, originally released as the Soft Heart Sandalwood series. And to my very happy surprise, this soap is coming back. The scent is coming back in soap, aftershave, and balm form in the next week or two. It's with a different label, and it's not going to be released under the Soft Heart, line, obviously, because I don't think he does those anymore. But anyway, I'm very happy that the sandalwood scent is coming back, and I don't have to be as worried about preserving the soap forever. Let's just go ahead and start loading the soap. You don't need to let your badger brushes soak for that long. And the thing with this knot is because it's so soft. That's what it looks like when it's shaken out. Because it's so soft, it is a little bit tedious to build a lather sometimes. And so I just really, really load it like I hate it. And I try not to start off with too wet of a brush. And so I'll kind of let the water that's in the knot sort of work its way in as I'm loading the soap. And then once I get it to about this kind of pasty stage, then I'll add some water just directly to the puck and then continue loading. This is really no different than how I load other soaps, but just with this knot, I find I have to be like really, really loaded, or else I just won't have enough soap. That's probably the reason why. Well, that's not probably. That's definitely the reason why this brush doesn't get more use. Is just because the knot can be a little bit finicky to use, and perhaps if it were set at a lower loft, it would be a little bit easier because it would give it some more backbone. And you know, it's not just loading the soap; it's also the building the lather part. And once I move to the face, which I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second, I'm just going to load a little bit more soap, added a little water to the puck again, and we're just loading away like we really, really hate it. And again, especially now that I know that this scent is coming back soon, I don't have to worry about running out anytime soon. So let's call it good there, and then I'm going to put some warm water on the face before we start our face lather. I feel like there's been a lot of exciting stuff in shaving come out in the past few weeks, so I hope you're getting to engage with it in whatever way that makes you happy. So as typical with Barrister and Mann scents, there's always a little bit more going on than advertised. So I've heard from Will in particular about this scent, and he said that it's not just sandalwood, you know. There are a lot of other things going on, and he doesn't publicly list what those are, but the interesting thing about this one is that there's kind of a, to me there's this like minty kind of accord, which is what kind of makes this sandalwood scent stand out from others that I've used in the past. At its base, it's got this very creamy sandalwood kind of, I would say it's kind of like the Mysore sandalwood from the Indian subcontinent. It's very popular over there. But then, yeah, there's this like minty thing going on, and I never could quite place what it was. And then this week using this, I was like, oh, is that mint? And again, it's probably not like peppermint directly. Perhaps it's some blend of notes that then sort of simulates mint. You know, it's like you mix two colors together and you get a different one. I had mentioned that to Sean of Shutdown Looks about his scent Unconditional Surrender, which I absolutely love. There's some kind of cinnamon note in that, to me, that I really enjoy, but it's not actually cinnamon. And he told me, like, well, if you're smelling this and this together, that can kind of be cinnamon adjacent, at least. So, anyway, if you smell stuff like that and it's not listed, you're probably not crazy. So, we still have a good amount of water to add here. Seems like we definitely got enough soap loaded here, which again, with this knot, I just feel like I really need to overload. And yeah, I'm just going to keep agitating the brush, adding some water, and I'll bring it back in. I'm about to start my first pass with the WR1. Okay, we're back, and this is our first pass result. Definitely overloaded the brush plenty, and had to add a good amount of water, but with a soft knot like that, it's not a big deal. Let's go with the first pass with the WR1, and I think the way I'm going to do it today is I'm going to do 3 passes. First pass, just use the open comb side, and then the next 2, use the solid bar side. Yeah. So with this razor, it's got a good amount of exposure, so I found that riding the bar, or in this case I guess the comb, that has been kind of the effective angle. And something I'm starting to think for these different Wolfman models, because now I've tried a good number of them, is that sometimes the gap doesn't matter like as much as you would think. So in this case, I think the WR1 works very well for me, because I've tried the more aggressive 0.80 gap, and I think that razor shapes wonderfully, you know, despite its aggression. And then this is a noticeable step down from that, going from 0.80 to 0.61, but I still think it shaves me very well. Similarly, with regards to WR2 razors, I haven't really found one that I absolutely love. I've had some I've absolutely hated, like in the more aggressive regions, and then the milder ones have been kind of okay. And so I guess what I'm getting at here is if there's a head style that doesn't seem like it's working for you, it's possible that it's just not going to work, you know. And similarly, if you have one that you do really like, and it's sort of a tricky thing, about, you know, how much trying out you should do. But anyway, just wanted to mention that sometimes, you know, I've said that a lot on the channel, but the gap of a razor is not the most important thing often. It's more about the other parts of the geometry, about the exposure, things like that. Working with 2 days growth here as usual. And yeah, I would call this a pretty easygoing shave. I haven't found this gap to be difficult to use or anything like that. And another great example of an open comb razor that's not really that aggressive. Doing with 2 days growth as usual. That was a nice first pass on the open comb side. So let's rinse, come back for pass number 2, and we'll flip to the safety bar side. So right back. Okay, let's go in for pass number 2. the lather kind of settled down very nicely in between passes there. I don't have any scientific reason for this, but it seems like with some soaps and some brushes, like it just needs a second to settle between pass 1 and 2. And today feels like one of those days. So we're going to use the safety bar side now, which is listed as being a couple steps down. But to me, it's actually not as big of a difference between the sides as I was maybe thinking. Still very comfortable, but not like unreasonably mild or something like that. You still have to pay attention and things like that. But again, still pretty comfortable. So I've been enjoying learning more about the anodizing process in the past week or so, and it's amazing how the razor will look different depending on the light, how it hits it, because it's not like painted on like a dye or something. And so before, when I would see people posting about their crazy bells and whistles, everything but the kitchen sink, Wolfman razors, I probably because of my vintage tendencies, there's part of me that always thought, that seems a little over the top and unnecessary. But then now, having used this razor and seen this razor, it kind of makes sense. It's like, if you have the option to have two totally different gaps and combs, bar options on both sides, it's like, why not do it? It can sort of be like having two razors in one, if you don't mind just shaving on, one side of the blade, which I don't. Again, I thought I would mind, but turns out I don't. And the elephant in the room, of course, is that these razors are not cheap. I won't call them overpriced because previously prices were lower and people were often selling these razors for more than they bought them for, right? And so in regards to the pricing updates from companies like Wolfman, Declaration Grooming, in the past, I don't know, year, however long it's been, I don't think they're unwarranted. Of course, like in the case of those Declaration brushes, if the fact that those retail, like a Jefferson retails for $405 now, if that's too much for you, I think it's fine. And I don't think Scott's losing sleep over it, So again, I've sort of changed my stance with the Wolfman razors in that if you have the funds, if you're going to be spending this kind of money on a razor, you might as well go all out. So yeah. Nice second pass, going to rinse, come back and do our final third pass. Third pass. Okay, just need to add a little water and work up the lather a bit before this third pass. And again, I'm going to be sticking to the solid bar side for a personal professional update. I'm very excited to be having a friend come stay with me this weekend. It's a little crazy because he was supposed to come stay with me a little over 2 years ago, and this was like the beginning of March 2020. And you can think about what was going on then, and I think it was supposed to be like the weekend before things seriously started shutting down. And I remember we kind of talked and we were like, yeah, let's wait to see if this thing blows over. But let's kind of err on the side of caution for now. And it's taken 2 years for this trip to happen again. And so definitely gonna enjoy showing my friend around. He's someone I've known for just about 10 years now, from kind of the music world. And we've stayed good friends over all these years, and it's it'll be good to see him. Kind of worked out well because I had kind of a not so busy weekend this weekend, and of course when I knew he was coming to town, I didn't accept any more gigs or work or things like that. But also this weekend we're going to go see kind of a old friend of mine. He's touring at the moment, and he's playing here in town. And I think I haven't seen him since, I don't know, 2019 or something. And he's been a kind of a mentor and also a friend to me. I feel very lucky to know him as well. And this is the part of the video where I do my PSA and encourage you all to go out and see live music in your area. It doesn't have to be the kind of music that I like, obviously, but we're trying to get back out there this year, and for me, I feel very lucky in that it's been easy to kind of get back out there this year and start playing again, things like that. But you know, we're artists, right? So our experiences are different, and that's the nice thing about it. That we don't all fit in a box. However, we still need your support, you know. So please go and check out live music, wherever that might be in your area. So this little spot, I'm just doing a little touch up. This spot right here, I could feel it. I pushed a little bit too hard, and off it went. There's this interesting little, I guess it's a hair, but it's just like, it's sort of errant and stays off on the side here. And it always looks like I don't grab it, but there's not really any length on it. It's just you could see it sticking out. It's very strange. So this was a very nice 3-pass shave. My skin is feeling great, except for this little nick right here, which I think is from earlier in the week. Really no issues whatsoever. So absolutely beautiful razor that shaves beautifully as well. So I'm going to do a little alum off camera, and then I'll come back and talk to you over some other post shave in just a minute. Okay, so we use some Osma alum off camera, and I've been using alum after every shave for probably 3 weeks now, and I've come to the conclusion that it does work well for me, or at least it doesn't cause any negative effects that I can tell. So if I feel like using it, I'm going to use it. That's sort of the thing I'm going to go with going forward. So that was a nice little experiment, and that's my final answer with that. We're going to use House of Mammoth Sonder Aftershave. This is a summer seasonal from Mammoth. I'm very excited for it to come back because I want to get at least a decant of the fragrance. This is a beautiful, creamy, kind of gourmand sandalwood. Smells like, reminds me of some kind of dessert. I just can't quite put my finger on what it is. Some kind of lemon cream pie or something. It's a lovely scent. Alcohol-based splash. It's got a little bit of synthetic cooling, but I just love using the scent and can't wait for it to come back in the summer. So let's do a final recap of the products. Again, Sonder, House of Mammoth, love that. We used Barrister and Mann Soft Tart Sandalwood, soon to be re-released as just Sandalwood. We used my favorite little Wolf Whiskers custom brush with a Maggard SHD knot. And then finally, the beautiful WR1 dual comb anodized titanium razor. So thank you all so much for watching this week. Feel free to leave any comments or questions below. And for now, this has been HD Shaves, and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.